What up? This is Robert Ory.
Or three-pointer. Buries it.
You might know me as Big Shot Bob.
To Ory for three. Oh, unbelievable. This guy is off the charts.
What's going on, Big Shot Bob?
Robert Ory from downtown.
All right, here we go. Back from the break. It is the Big Shot Bob podcast. That is B-Dog Brandon Harper. My name is Rob Jenners. That is live from H-Town, 7-time NBA champion. Robert Ory. Before we get to H-Town, happy birthday.
Oh, thank
I know
you.
we're a little belated. It was your birthday this past weekend, but we'd be remiss if we didn't start the show by saying happy birthday.
I appreciate it, man. August 25th, 54 years old. Glad the Lord blessed me with another year. So hopefully I can get about 50 more in.
Dude, we're all praying. We're all just trying to get you to the NBA pension. That's really all. Just trying to get you there, baby. What did you do for your birthday, man? I saw that you went. I think you and I were texting. You went to a Dodgers game.
Yeah, went to the Dodgers game. You know, even though we left, man, because we had a birthday dinner to get to. As soon as we walked out, Mookie Betts hit a damn home run.
Of course.
God damn it. It happens every time. Yeah, so, you know, I love watching the Dodgers. But I love baseball, as we talked about before. So we went to the Dodgers game, and then my wife she treated me to dinner with 12 of our other friends and just had a good time. And the crazy part is we were teenagers because our buddy owns like 3 different restaurants, and it's like 2-block radius. So we went from one restaurant to the other restaurant to the other restaurant and back.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
And so we were like doing like a pub crawl.
Dude, that is outstanding. I would do that all day. How much did you have to drink? Did you put them away, or did you?
I
under control?
didn't drink a lot.
Okay, you were under control. All right.
Yeah.
The older you get, though, you have to start factoring in recovery time. That's the problem. Like
my wife is over there to stop lying.
Yeah.
I didn't compared to my birthday last year. I didn't drink a lot.
What'd you say?
She's saying like it was all the men that were drinking because the wives, they kept bringing us shots because it was my birthday.
Sure.
But the wives kept giving the men the shots, so we had like an extra shot some of the time. So
well, you couldn't. I mean, people gonna bring them to you. I'm not the biggest drinker in the world, but I do know if somebody gonna bring you a shot, especially on your birthday, you can't just sit it there.
No. Yeah, I mean, as soon as we sat down at this table next to us, they sent us like 2 shots. Sent me 2 shots. I'm like, okay, dude, I just sat down. I gotta get some food in my stomach.
Just get some food in your stomach and then take. Look, that's hospitality.
Yep.
You know.
Tell you. And then you're in Houston. I guess around your birthday, you like to go see your kids. So
yeah, I didn't see my 2 oldest boys. Yeah. Come here to visit, see if they got, see if they grown enough to know like pops need a present. see if they're gonna buy me a present.
Well, that's the dichotomy of life, though, isn't it, man? And you hope it comes back around. Never really does. Really does. Well,
and see if one of them reach for the water when we go to dinner tonight.
See, that's a gesture. It might be an empty gesture, but you have to at least. Can I pay? Can I get? Are you good? You got it. All right, Dad's got it. We're good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you take your parents out. Because you rarely take your parents out. Anytime you go out, it's usually your parents who take care of it. But on special occasions like that, there's no way in the world I would ever let either one of my parents. I'm not letting my parents grab their wallet at all. Like it's a foregone conclusion that you know that I'm taking care of the bill. Like I'm not finna let you take care of the bill on your day.
My parents, since I got an MBA, every time the bill come around, it's, all right, we'll see you at the car.
I'm gonna go pull the car around. You got it?
Yeah. My dad used to have the toothpick. I'm like, all right.
I'll see you outside. I'm gonna go sit out front. Like, all right, man.
It's too cold in here. I gotta go sit outside.
That's too good, man. That's too good. Well, happy birthday. We were all thinking about you this past week. How was China, dude?
China was hectic, man. I think I took like 5 flights while I was there because we kept doing different things in different provinces. So it was cool because it was about the NBA Cares program. It's called Let Her Play. And so it was dedicated to trying to get the Chinese girls to play more basketball, which was fun. 2 former Chinese CBA players were there, Miss Ling and Batir, who used to play for the Spurs. So trying to teach young ladies how to play basketball. So it was fun.
That's cool, man.
Just dope.
Yeah, that's cool. That's why we were off last week. Was Rob was in China, but did you get to do? I mean, like, I know there's a lot you have to do for the NBA. That's why you're there. But do you get to do anything like off time? Like, do you get to go do like a sightseeing thing, or like if you want to see the Great Wall or any of that stuff? Or
Well, I've been to China so many times that I just rest. I just go in the room.
I guess that makes
and just
sense.
rest
Yeah.
because
I'm
it's
thinking
like,
about it from the perspective of someone who's never stepped foot in the country. So I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, there's so much I want to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's
But
cool.
and the thing about that is before when I used to go and to see all these things, but I think I've seen so many things. Like now, I kind of just stay in the room, either sleep, which kind of keeps me on my time zone. So when I come back, I'm not jet lagged.
Oh, yeah.
Like as soon as I got on the plane to come back to the States, I went straight to sleep, and I was back on our time zone. So it works out pretty good. I kind of got it down to a science now.
Well, yeah. I mean, you do it enough times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like what's the difference? Isn't it like almost the polar opposite time zones?
It's like I think it's like a 13-hour.
13. Yeah,
hours
so
ahead.
almost completely the opposite of
Yeah.
day-to-day life over here. That's crazy. I'm glad you had fun. It's a fun trip.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, man. Let's. I'm going through stuff for this week, and I'm just kind of looking at stuff that's out there, and this story pops up like 3-4 times, and I don't know where this comes from. I don't know what kind of credence this has, but there's this idea that the Lakers are starting to play the long game now and plan for the years beyond LeBron James, and that plan includes Luka Doncic. And I'm like, we've got NBA insiders talking about this. Like, this isn't just like some random. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I go and I pull it. I'm like, how many years does he have left? He's got 3 more years left on that contract in Dallas. So this isn't even like, why are we talking about this now? 43 million due, then 46 million due, and then his 26, 27 years, a player option at $49 million. So,
Which he gonna opt out of that.
yeah, and it's like you're gonna end up paying him, I mean, insane money to try and get him out of Dallas. But I don't foresee a scenario where he leaves Dallas.
Do you remember we had the same scenario about 2 or 3 years ago? We were talking about Giannis. The Lakers were playing a long game to get Giannis. I think
And he
it's
signed
just
that huge deal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either these Laker lovers who just trying to throw rumors out there, or these just people who just sitting around just saying, what insane shit can we say?
It's the dumbest thing we can drum up. How about Luka Doncic to the Lakers? There you go.
But you got to think about this. Luka's going to be how old then? What, like 31, 32?
By the time his deal's up,
Yeah.
I think maybe he's late 20s, early 30s.
He
I'm
ain't
not.
the best defensive player now.
Oh, no.
And that's the Lakers' problem.
Yeah.
You got to have some athletic guys that can play some defense. And Luka, he can score the best of them. But, and we also know you got to take beers out of his hand because he ain't the one that's staying in shape. He going to be good, but he ain't going to be what you need probably.
Yeah.
This ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
This is nothing but little banter that you always hear. So anybody that could put in the next star, regardless of who they are, is always going to be connected to the Lakers. Like you said, we talked about it with Giannis a few years ago. Now it's Luka's turn. Now is at some point in time down the line, hell, it's going to be Wemby.
Oh, I'm surprised it's not
gonna be
Wemby yet.
Wemby.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet.
You're going to hear it. Give it about 2-3 seasons, especially if the Spurs aren't doing anything or Wemby may not be quote-unquote happy. You're going to see his name connected to the Lakers all in on Wemby.
I'm going to mark a note on the show sheet.
Just mark it. Today
you've
is
predicted this today.
August 28th, 2024.
And in 2 years' time.
Yep.
And then it says, don't forget to throw LaMelo Ball in there too, as he can come back to LA and play in front of his pops.
Maybe so. And the crazy part about LaMelo, he gets forgotten because he stay hurt.
He was hurt.
But he's only 23.
Yeah.
He is young.
He is young.
Yeah. And I saw Lonzo was back on the court
please.
last week or the week before or something like that.
Yeah.
When we were off, I saw a video of him out there, and I'm like, all right, well, he's playing. He's trying to at least.
Yeah.
You're going to have to eat that money one way or another, whether he plays or not. So,
But this is not happening. The Lakers, look, I don't know what you're going to do after LeBron James retires.
You're going to have somebody who wants to be in a Laker uniform. You know what I mean? That's the only way that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, that was kind of the thing about LeBron, though. Wasn't that his deal? Like, he wanted to be a Laker.
Yeah.
He wanted to come to be the Laker. This was his, as much his move as anybody's.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
who's the next guy that's going to want to do? Because to your point, Rob, if you have to go out and just throw a pile of money at somebody to convince them to be a Laker,
yeah,
what are you really going to get out of them besides, oh God, we're paying this guy $51 million a season, and he can't play defense?
Yeah,
you got to have somebody who wants to be there.
Yeah, and Laker fans are, they not as rough and tough on a team as Philly and New York, but they will let you know.
Yeah, they'll let you know.
Well, it's like to Harper's point, it's a national story every time something comes up with the Lakers.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's just if the LA media ain't gonna let you know, the national media sure as hell will.
And who's not already under an extension that the Lakers like? That's what I'm saying. Like these guys who are going to be brought up are going to more than likely sign extensions where they are, or their teams are going to try to their damnedest to get these guys to sign extensions. Like Ant-Man ain't going nowhere.
It's only one dumb GM out there, and he's with the Clippers.
Had to get the obligatory Clippers shot in this show. I don't know what to do otherwise if we don't.
So that's the Lakers after LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, you still got AD, but AD will be 30. Well, he is 30. And
you better hope AD made some friends around the league.
Nah,
I don't know.
It's not even just that. It's just you have teams. One, they won't trade with the Lakers, and then number two, their superstars know that I can make all the money I need to make where I am, and people ain't lost on this tax thing when it comes to California. Yeah. Folks like to keep as much money as they can in their pocket, and we know that the state of California will take, hey, give me that. Oh, yeah, $60 million a year, give me about 30 of that.
Yeah.
You don't have to convince any of us of that. Rob's not wearing it today, but he has his no state tax shirt somewhere. We're advocates.
Hey, now that I'm back, I'm back in Houston like this. I can just feel it.
I can smell the no state tax. It's just beautiful. Oh God!
Look, the air is cleaner. You ain't got no smog in the air.
Yeah, I tell you, man, it's not bad. Food's good. Yeah, lots to do. I'm telling you, no state tax. All right, well, look, we are going to talk about Ant-Man. We are going to talk about another Laker, Magic Johnson, in just a second here. We also got some I got some Kevin Garnett stuff. I got some Stephen A. versus Sheryl Swoops this week. College football's back. We got a lot to go on. A lot going on this show. But first, I have to issue a bit of an apology here. I walked out of my studio the other day, and something smelled like amazingly delicious in the kitchen. So I turned the corner of the kitchen, was like, Derek, what are you eating? He's like, oh, it's like shredded pork and mashed potatoes or something. It smelled amazing. And he's like, yeah, it's one of these Factor meals. And I was like, son of a bitch, we just started working with Factor. Like, it's part of the show now. We're like, they just started working with Rob. And he's like, oh, it's great. And then like an hour later, Harper comes in the studio. Hey, are we working with Factor now? Oh, yeah, I've been ordering Factor meals for years.
I have.
So I apologize, Factor. I was not familiar with your game. I'm going to give you the Shaq apology. I was not familiar with your game.
Factor Harper, am very familiar with your game.
The times I come to the studio, I've been missing out?
Apparently, yes. Apparently, everybody here has got hooked up with Factor. So now we're like late to the show. But yeah, so Factor meals, we got to thank them very much for being part of the show. By the way, if you want to try Factor for yourself, we're going to have a deal for you in a second here. It involves a code and a URL, but I mean, it is like, when I say you can order anything, it's full chef-crafted meals, options that are like calorie smart, protein plus, and keto. It's a full menu, and it's no prep, and it's no mess. And Rob, it's freaking delicious, man.
Factor's fresh, never frozen meals. That's the best part of it. They're ready in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. I could use one of those right now. With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you always have a new flavor to explore.
All right, Harp, what are your favorite Factor meals?
Let me tell you. So I've had the steak and shrimp.
Oh,
that sounds good.
I've had it is like I want to say it's more like a pork belly and mashed potatoes.
Oh.
And there was it was a chicken and asparagus. And like I said, these meals, I like to eat. So usually certain things, presentation and stuff like that, I just want to know that what I'm eating is filling me up. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes to Factor, there are times where I don't have to cook because I know whatever I have coming from Factor will fill me up. So they get the job done when it comes to whatever meals that you want and whatever they send you. It'll fill you up every single time.
You need to be on TV.
I tell you what, man, put this man on a billboard is all I'm saying.
You all aren't. I'm familiar with their game.
I know. I apologize. I had to offer the Shaq apology. I was unfamiliar with Factor's game. Derek told me it's the closest thing he gets every week to a home-cooked meal. You can treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals. They feature premium ingredients like Harp was saying, filet mignon, shrimp, blackened salmon, and it's all ready. So you can keep the kitchen time to pretty much a minimum.
Yep.
Man, I love some blackened salmon, but the thing about these meals, they're ready in 2 minutes, no shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. Hey, that's what I like the best of cleaning up. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well balanced. Yeah, we like to eat well balanced around here.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot of options, man. So head to factormeals.com. Here's your offer, /BigShotBob50. Just use that code, BigShotBob50. You're going to get 50% off your first box and then 20% off your next month. So you can try this, 50% off the first box, 20% off the next month. And I'm telling you, you're probably not going to cancel it for nothing because it's amazing. The code's BigShotBob50 at factormeals.com. Big Shot Bob 50 gets you 50% off your first box, 20% off your first month while your subscription is active.
Don't miss out now. You won't regret it.
Tell you what. Thank you to our friends at Factor for supporting the show, man. Love it. All right, well, we had conflict this week.
There's always tension in the air somewhere.
I tell you, man, when it comes to the Lakers. This was so Anthony Edwards kind of started this. And Magic just responded to it. So Anthony Edwards had an interview with the Wall Street Journal last week. He said, quote, I didn't watch it back in the day, speaking of the NBA, so I can't speak on it. They say it was tougher back then than it is now, but I don't think anybody had the skill back then. Jordan was the only one that really had any skill, you know what I mean? So that's why they saw Kobe and were like, oh my God, but now everybody has skill. So that was his quote. Basically, Jordan's the only guy back in the day that had any skill. So Stephen A. Smith is doing a live event on stage with Magic Johnson. He gives Magic the quote, and he asks him to respond to it.
Anthony Edwards just said the other day that there really wasn't any skilled players in the NBA back in the day outside of Michael Jordan. That's what he said. Your response to that, Irvin Magic Johnson?
Well, you know, I don't never respond to a guy that's never won a championship. There's not nothing to really say. He didn't win a college championship. I don't know if he even won a high school championship. So.
All right, so Magic's response was, "Yeah, I don't talk down." Now, while I feel like Ant-Man's point is a little out of left field, and I honestly a little bit ignorant, I feel like the argument of, well, you never won a title is like, I don't know, a little tired for someone like Magic. Like, you could speak to a lot more in the game of basketball than just winning a title.
Yeah. You know, for me, you know, after Ant-Man said what he said for the Olympics, that I'm the go-to guy, he's put himself as that, like as a comedian. And so for me, I think he was trying to be comic relief now, because you think about it, you just slapped Vince Carter in the face, you just slapped Karl Malone in the face, you just slapped Charles Barkley, you just slapped Sean Kemp in the face. Yeah. These are just some of the guys I could, off the top of my head.
Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. I mean, come on. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's like, but then he said, I didn't watch back in the day when I think Ant-Man went 22, 23. Magic was out the league when you was fucking born. You know, MJ was out the league when you was born. So why you even comment about MJ? You know, so I just laugh. I just think Ant-Man he's comedy relief when it comes to certain things, because he put himself in that position after the crazy shit. He said, like, oh, he's going to be the go-to guy. Hell, you weren't even the go-to guy when you had AR and all those other guys playing with you. So how you think you can be the go-to guy with LeBron, AD, KD,
Kevin Durant,
and especially Steph?
I mean, he's just young. He's 23. So like you said, he didn't see any of those. The only reason Mike is being brought up, because from a two-guard perspective, no disrespect to any other two-guard at that time, Mike was an anomaly. Mike was different. There's a reason they called him, even in the 80s when Larry Bird called him Black Jesus. They had never seen anything like that in the league. The way his athleticism, the way that he played, the way that he moved. So obviously that's why you would single out Michael, and obviously just the aura of Michael Jordan transcends every bit of time when it comes to NBA here. I don't care. At 23 years old, everybody still knows who Michael Jordan is because they'll go YouTube Michael Jordan. They know when Mike walks in the room. He is the one that when he walks in every single room, I don't care where he goes, it's like it's like a bright light that everybody tries to cover up and it blinds everybody. But yeah, I think that's a shot at like a lot of the older generation. I do think Magic had an opportunity there to kind of educate a little bit, because like you said, it's easy for him to take the shot. Well, I'm not going to talk to anybody that ain't never won a championship. Okay, cool. But there are some guys who won championships that, if that's going to be the bar, there are some guys that won championships that don't need to talk at all. You know what I'm saying? And I just think he had a great opportunity as a Hall of Famer, as a guy that helped the NBA get back to a certain point.
Exactly. Yeah.
He had an opportunity to kind of educate him a little bit as a young dude. He's very, very young. He's only 23. He's accomplished a little bit at 23 years old. You know, his game transcends a lot of 23-year-olds that we've seen in the league, you know, come through. And so I think a guy like that, you had an opportunity to kind of, you know, educate him as an elder statesman and as one of the greatest players of all time and a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
I also think that he, you know, with Magic, he could have. I understand that he don't want to. That's beneath him. It really is to even talk about something that coming from a guy that young. But I also think, I agree with you totally 100%, that he could just, you know, let me just educate you, and broke it down. And let's start out with, you know, guys like Oscar Robertson, who you never even probably even heard of, and then just went down the line from each. Let's talk about Kareem, a guy who they made rules for, and it went down the line. But I also say, like, man, that dude don't know what the fuck he talking about. I ain't gonna talk about. I ain't gonna waste my minutes. I'm gonna focus on me right now. So I get both sides, but I think if someone had asked me something that same question, I probably did with Magic. I mean, I'm not even gonna waste my time answering some bullshit.
Well, all right. So when I say ignorant, I don't mean ignorant from like a perspective of he's an ignorant person.
Right.
Youth is ignorance sometimes. You know what I mean? So, and he grew up in a generation where the best sneaker to have was a Jordan. Right. So it's like this allure of Jordan is more than basketball in that case. He is basketball to a lot of these kids because his name is attached to the coolest stuff that you grew up wanting and playing with, and you got to have a pair of Jordans. So I think he puts Jordan in a place beyond other people, not from the perspective of he watched other people's games and wasn't as impressed. It's just more of, he's Jordan. He's the name. He's the guy on the sneaker that I have to have, the Jumpman. And
but
then he also comes from a social media generation, too, where everybody just says shit. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to back it up. You can just say it.
I think about this, like, you think about the history of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you think about one of the most athletic guys that ever played for the Minnesota Timberwolves, J.R. Rider. I'm like, do you realize you're just 2.0 J.R. Rider? I'm like, J.R. Rider had the same strength and the jumping abilities you had. So there's so many guys, like, you know, it's that you can't, to me, don't talk about the history of the game when you really only have a small snippet of the history of the game that you can, you know, take a pull from.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, by the way. J.R. Rider.
Yeah.
He does remind me a lot of J.R. Rider. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think, but like you said, I think he said that flippantly without really thinking about a lot of the guys.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know, who...
And again, it's the brand. It's the brand. It's Jordan.
It is what it is. Like,
he's the guy.
I can't remember. I could go back at 23 years old and think of a lot of things that I said. Where now at 34, I'm like...
I'd rather not.
Dog.
I'd rather
you were probably wrong about that one. Because at 23, it's one, he feels as though he's invincible. You know, You know, he's a very bold 23-year-old. He's a very confident 23, which is some of the things that we love about Ant, which is why he's the leader of that organization. At such a young age, he has such a presence, and he doesn't run from stuff like that.
It's like a
he
bravado.
It's exactly a bravado, and he has that about him that you love from a franchise player. Now that can get you in trouble, but you deal with that because that bravado also resonates on the court, and that's what you need when it comes to becoming a leader and eventually, hopefully, becoming a champion.
So I had, growing up in Alabama, we didn't really have much NBA basketball. And I remember when I was on my little recruiting trips, I was coming out of college, they introduced me to, they said, you do know who the head coach of the Denver Nuggets is? It's one of my stops at them. I'm like, no. It's like, it's Dan Issel. I'm like, who's Dan Issel? And it's like that. And like, then you had to do the research. Oh, shit, I feel like an idiot because I don't know who Dan Issel. But I didn't know Dan because that wasn't, I didn't have a phone where I can look at and look up.
The days before the internet, man.
And so then you find out who Dan is. Like, well, damn, this dude was a rebounding machine. And then I get this, Phoenix, and they tell me about, Connie Hawkins. I'm like, who the fuck is Connie? I don't know these guys because you don't know the history. These guys had access to the history, even though, even had to do this with Christian, where like, look how slow they're moving. Yeah, some of the guys were a little bit slow, but they were skilled. And so for me, I think you got to learn. That's one thing I will say. He just had a birthday too, Kobe Bryant. That guy, he would go back and look at guys. It didn't matter what generation it was, and understand that the skill set was good. And he would take stuff from each person and add it to his game. And I think that's what, this could be a learning lesson for him where he needs to go and research stuff. Maybe he can get as good as Kobe Bryant was because he's researched these guys, he's taken things from these guys and added to his game.
Yeah. One of my all-time favorite videos is the Kobe Jordan video where they have them kind of synced up doing the same stuff, and you could be like, oh, look, he just pulled that whole thing right out of Jordan's bag and put that on the court. I mean, that's like,
And here's the thing.
It's dope.
A lot of people wanted to give Kobe flack because it's like, oh, he's just taking things from Jordan. Let me put it to you like this. There have been other guys that have been deemed or were closely connected to being the next Jordan. Harold Miner was supposed to be one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Vince Carter was thought to possibly be one of them, and obviously Kobe. You talk to anybody, and no disrespect to any of those other guys, they say that Kobe is the closest, the almost carbon copy of a Michael Jordan. So when you have a guy, regardless of what you take from a guy, you could take a lot, but that does not mean you're going to be great. You can attempt to do certain things. It doesn't mean that you're going to be revered for, to the end of time. Kobe is like that. And Vince is like that too. And then we do remember Harold Miner for the short amount of time that he did have. Well, if you're a basketball fan, you know who he is. Maybe not revered, but you do remember. But what I'm saying is when people want to hold that against Kobe, I'm like, you do know not only did he have his own style, but pairing, like you said, his own style with what he took, not only from Mike, he took footwork from Kareem. He worked out with Kareem. He's worked out with the great. He studied the greats, respected them enough to say, I needed to work on this. So, yeah, I'm going to take certain things from certain people because this is a copycat league. Sports is nothing but copycat stuff. What's done
And
before will be done again.
NBA is truly a copycat league because they all run the same fucking offense now.
Yeah, Steph Curry. They all run Steph Curry. That's what they want to do now. He's good. Do what he does.
Right.
Like, it's what? Yeah.
You have the can do's and you have the can't do's. There are some people who hate because they can't do it. And the people who actually do aren't speaking because they just out there doing it. And Kobe was a doer.
Yeah.
So I've always heard people want to say, oh, he just took from Mike. Bro. He's one of the greatest players of all time, and Kobe became one of the greatest players of all time. If that's the case, I take from Mike too.
Yeah,
you got to.
If I could paint like Da Vinci, I'm putting some shit up on the ceiling of the church, man. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, why are we reinventing the wheel here, bro? What are we talking about? Yeah, I mean, come on. All right, well, speaking of guys that backed up their mouth a lot, Kevin Garnett had a little bit of a bold statement this week. He was this was part of his podcast that he does with Paul Pierce, and he said that Giannis is the fourth best player in the East. But the only two names he threw out were Embiid and Tatum.
My Lord.
So I don't know how he got to four, but he said four. But then the only two that he could really come up with were Embiid and Tatum. I guess my question would be, regardless of how you feel about Kevin Durant's take. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Harp. He's already loaded. Go ahead. Okay.
The fact that you said Garnett said Giannis was the fourth player, but could only give us two, takes me back not too long ago when he had what was the show on Turner or on Warner? It was like Agent 21.
Yes.
And he spun the wheel and didn't know how to pronounce the word. God bless his heart. The man didn't know how to pronounce the word, and he don't know how to count. And I love KG. KG, I love the big ticket. And this ain't no shot to him. But if you're going to tell me he's the fourth, but you only give me two, sir, there's a number missing.
You better have.
Now, I may not know what that number is, and y'all may know. But y'all let me know if y'all think that number is missing and what number that might be.
Hey, it's like, but when you talk about Giannis, his nickname, he's a freak.
He's a freak.
And I think it's everything when it comes to talking about the best players. It's your vision, is what you see. For me, I don't think he's the third best player. I think he's the best player in the East. You guys might think he's second, fourth, fifth. And so it's just how you look at it. Because when you think about size, speed, and strength, and then what you can do on the court when he's healthy, what can Embiid stop him? Nope.
Mm-mm.
Can Tatum stop him? Nope. And it's just like, but he can turn around and stop those two guys. That's why I say he's, to me, the best player in the East when he's healthy.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just like, he's just a freak, man. He's just one of the best players in the league. He's top 5 right now, to me.
And that's why when we were talking about, ranking these teams in the East, how we felt as though Milwaukee is flying under a radar. And even Giannis, in a sense, is flying under a radar, even with this. I think because of his injuries and the fact that they didn't live up to expectations even after getting Dame, and now you got Doc Rivers over there where we know his history. They're flying under a radar, and they're kind of being underrated in a sense, which is crazy at this point in time in Giannis' career that he's kind of being underrated. But I think you're going to see Giannis hears all of this. And I think you're going to see a man on a mission this year. That's why I said watch out for Milwaukee, because I think Giannis knows, he feels like he has something to prove. And it's like, I think y'all forgot who I am.
You know what the Milwaukee is starting to fall into? They're starting to be the San Antonio Spurs. Remember how when you had Tim, Tony, and Manu, and you didn't talk about them. You talked about Minnesota with big tickets. You talked about the Lakers with Kobe. You talked about everybody but the freaking Spurs. Next thing you know, how do they get the most wins in the league? How do they win a championship? And if you look at, I know the Milwaukee bench is a little weak, and that's what they need to work on, and they can't stay healthy. But if they're healthy, God, they're gonna be something special. Yeah. So they're gonna be, people gonna be talking about by come December. They're like, shit.
And I do think that dynamic between Dame and him will work out.
Yeah.
Well, they've got a season under their belt now.
Yeah.
So you've got some time to work out. Here's basically where this whole thing boils down to: is health. Because it's hard to say he's not one of the best players in the East. Well, if he's not healthy, well, of course, if he's not healthy, he's sitting on the bench. And you forget about him, his name falls out of the conversation. So, I mean, when you're banged up, and it was the same way with Embiid. Embiid would get hurt, Embiid would sit for a while, and then he'd come back and be like, oh, shit, we forgot how good Joel Embiid is. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's like Embiid and Giannis up there as far as best players in the East, because, I mean, Embiid just turns games around when he's healthy and he's on a roll. He just overruns games, just entirely overruns them.
You take Embiid over Jason Tatum?
Oh, shit.
Well, he's up there. That's another name. We talk about you talk about the number one team in the East.
No,
and the Celtics.
I know what I said. Oh God, shit. Yeah, I probably would roll with Embiid. Give me a big who's on a. I mean, and that's the thing too. When Embiid's on a rip, oh my God, he's almost unstoppable. And I know Tatum is a more fundamentally sound player, to put it kindly. I think he's better on the other side of the basketball than Embiid is. But I feel like Embiid's a game wrecker when he's on. Like, I've seen him just run teams over on his own. So I think all three of those guys are easy in the conversation. I don't think it's a clear-cut winner, but Yeah, I don't know how you had him at 4, KG. I can demoted him outside of the conversation at the top 3. Can't even come up with a number 3.
Out of sight, out of mind. That's what they do.
I do want to congratulate quickly Angel Reese. She got a new podcast.
I'm so jealous.
She got a new podcast going now. Good for her. Congratulations. But, I mean, she's been on a rip with the boards, man. Her last 3 games, 22 rebounds, 20 rebounds, 20 rebounds. 3 straight 20-plus rebound games, man.
And the reason I say I'm jealous is because she has that deal with Reese's. I'm like, I'm jealous.
Oh, yeah, no, they got the Angel Reese's now. Oh, yes, that's right.
Got their own little clothing line. They've created a little brand.
I'm jealous. Hey, I tried for years when I was with the Lakers to get me a deal with Oreo cookie. I'm like, I couldn't even get a deal with Oreo cookie.
Yeah, the Oreos. That's right. Yeah. You don't want to know what the cream filling is, kids. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, the funny part is I knew somebody who worked for him. I'm like, yo, man, get me a fucking
you had
commercial.
it in and it didn't work.
The first one's on me.
Hey,
shame on you.
That can't. I'll say this. That's not a pipe dream. It's not. That dream ain't dead.
Hey, I say.
I mean, it ain't doing laps around the building either, but it ain't dead.
Hey, the funny part, like I could do the perfect commercial right now with Grandpa and me and little K, my grandson, and we sitting there like, this is how I used to do it back in my day, and teach them how to eat an Oreo
Dude,
cookie.
film it.
Me and little K.
Film it. Film it.
Record it.
Film it and put it online and be like, Oreo, and
media.
tag them and go, Oreo, you missed an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And watch an Oreo deal come flying in.
Because
you got to speak that shit into reality, man.
I know it, right?
Because this world now works off likes and engagement.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how it gets to people.
You put a video out and one person in the Oreo social media team sees it and goes, oh, this is a good idea. That's all it takes. Yeah, it's not about who you know anymore.
Hey, all they do is now they just started planning and like they got that shit for free. Like, here.
Yeah, they just go put it out on their feed. Thanks, Rob. Retweet. Son of a bitch. Yeah. Steal it completely. A couple other women, before we get into the Stephen A. Sheryl Swoops thing, making some noise. Asia Wilson had a night the other night. Holy crap.
Yeah.
2018, 3 blocks, 2 steals, and a game winner. And I'm seeing a lot of MVP conversation now around her name as well. And Nafisa Collier. Damn. 27 and 18, 23 and 7, 30 and 4, 17 and 12 on a rip.
You know, when I look at Nafisa Collier, I always loved her game, but you really couldn't see it in the Olympics because when you got to defer. But that girl can go, man.
Dude.
You know, it's so many of those girls that was, you know, of course, you know, you got Stewie and Asia were the stars of the team. You know how dominant they are. But you really couldn't appreciate the other girls because they was deferring so much. But now they're back in their system where they getting the ball 90% of the time. You can see how good they really are, man. So it's a different kind of flow, a different type of flow.
Yeah.
It's honestly, I've been paying more attention to the WNBA the last year than I ever have in my entire life across the board. I don't know what to attribute that to. I'm not going to hang it on anybody, but watching a lot of these girls run, man, holy crap, it is.
You know what I'm hanging on? I'm gonna hang it on to the TV because they putting them out there more.
Yeah, all of a sudden you got a few rights. It doesn't matter who got it done, but you got some rights deals.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that, but I know I'm hanging on. It's not taken away from anybody else. I'm hanging on to the 2 who were drafted.
The storylines.
Because it's nothing wrong with saying that. It's not a shot at it. It's the same thing as the NBA.
Yeah, but it's a tired narrative that is, well, I mean, without Caitlin Clark, none of this happens.
I'm not saying without, but without Magic and Bird, we wouldn't be talking about the NBA like this. We talked about the growth and the development and things being taken, and there has to be a catalyst for something. It doesn't mean that the ladies that were in the league already weren't great. It just means that there are things that spark. Right, there's a spark. Yeah. Social media sparks things, engagement, likes, and it captivates people, and that's the era we live in.
It's what we talked about. It's the storyline.
It's what it is.
You drafted the storyline. You got Angel and Caitlin together on opposite sides of the ball and let them go take the rivalry they had on the floor in college, bring that to the WNBA.
There's nothing wrong with that. It
carried over a lot of audience, and look, it's got eyes on the sport probably now more than ever.
And it helps, and it also helps the other women who are superstars in the WNBA too. We know that Asia Wilson
in their pocket.
Yeah, we know that Asia Wilson is. I know that Asia Wilson is the best player in the WNBA. But you know, with now more eyes on that product, now more people are seeing her game. And
exactly.
And so they already knew about her before. Now you got even more people who know about her.
Hey, that's like us. When we back in the day, we were happy Big Dog got that big ass contract, and his contract was more than the whole fucking Milwaukee Bucks team was worth. That's good for us.
You think Shaq didn't like when Alonzo Mourning and Alonzo Mourning got $100 million? Mm-hmm. Oh, he got 100. Cool. I know I'm worth 100. I'm worth more than that. Hey, that's all I'm saying.
It's the trickle down, baby. Yeah. Hey, we all benefit. You eat, we eat.
Yeah,
everybody eats. I just want to play this audio real quick too. This was Stephen A. Smith and Sheryl Swoops. I don't know if you heard about any of this or paid any attention to this.
You know, I love Sheryl. I love Sheryl.
Okay, I was going to ask you what your relationship with her was.
Hey, she's like, to me, she like is when you talk about top 5 when it comes to WNBA, she probably number 1 or number 2 between her and Cheryl Miller. Sheryl could go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Stephen A. I guess she's got some personal relationships outside of Caitlin Clark, which is kind of the storyline we just talked about. But Stephen A. had some stuff to say about it on the podcast, and Sheryl didn't take too kindly to this.
Look at this quote here. I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana. I'm going to shout out to Lexi Hull. I'm a big Lexi Hull fan. Lexi Hull shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She's just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double. If Indiana continues to play the way they're playing like this, they too are going to move up in the standings, end quote. So no, Caitlin Clark. Sheryl Swoops. No, Caitlin Clark. Respectfully, Sheryl Swoops, you have any idea how that makes you look?
Yeah, no. It goes on from there, but the fact that he left Caitlin out of that conversation, or she left Caitlin out of that conversation, the talking point became, well, obviously, she, like the rest of the league, has a little something to grind out here with Caitlin Clark. You know what I mean? That's why. And then Sheryl was like, no, I'm just trying to shine light on the players that I know and the people I have relationships with. Here was Cheryl's quote. This was all on X, by the way. I have a personal relationship with these players, and they deserve recognition as well. Do you talk about them or others in the league and give them their props? Stephen A. Smith, by the way, you new to this, I'm true to this. Not sure what he thought he was doing. I'm ready to go on his show. Coward. Call Stephen A. Smith a coward.
Well, see, go ahead. Oh, no, you go ahead. You know.
Okay. See, I think what, Stephen A. failed to realize is Stephen A. only talk about what's hot sometimes.
Yeah.
And Sheryl Swoops was trying to, I applaud Sheryl so much for doing this because I talk about this all the time. When you talk about teams, you forget number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7 players in his team. So when you get someone like Sheryl who understands the game and say, you got to appreciate everybody on the team, just not the top dog, I applaud that big time. And I understand what Stephen A. is also saying. Well, don't forget about her. But yeah, she gets all the fucking credit. She gets all the records. Let this light shine on someone else. We talking about trying to make this sport great as a whole. Just don't have fucking tunnel vision. Spread that vision so you can see other people and appreciate other people. And that's what I know Sheryl is doing, because Sheryl, when you talk about loving the game and understanding the game, she appreciates not just number 1, number 2, number 3, everybody on the team. And I think Stephen A. forgot and didn't see that. Yeah, she knows Clayton Clark is a dog on that team, but let's talk about some other people some of the time.
Yeah, because Aaliyah Boston been a beast.
Yeah, number 1 pick.
Yeah, she was number 1 pick. What the year before?
2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's my thing with Stephen A. And we look. I like Stephen A. and I've always liked Stephen A. growing up. I've always said
nothing against Stephen A.
Right, but I've always said, like, for me, when there was always a guy within the media who I guess I kind of looked up to and kind of saw how he did things, it was always Stephen A. Smith, just because of everything that he went through to get to where he is, and he's deserving of everything that he has. The annoying thing about him is, and I understand that he can't always watch everything. But even when the WNBA is being taken to new heights,
didn't Monica just get on him about that?
Yeah, it's like
that was a national blow up.
It's like, he does this. But he does this with the NBA too. There are a lot of guys in the NBA that he won't talk about and he won't speak about, and he'll only talk about what's hot. And we know that the NBA and WNBA we know it's a star league. We get it, but it is also still a team sport. And there are other people on that team that help that machine go. And I think he misses out on a lot. I think he misses out on the not only WNBA but the NBA too. Because I be listening to him sometime like, bruh, did you watch the same game we watched?
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Probably
see?
not.
Did you see all the other stuff?
He looked at the stat sheet like half of us do sometime when we miss the game.
I watched the 7-minute YouTube recap is what I watched.
You know,
and here's what I think too, and I think Rob touched on this. I think Stephen A. stuck in the hype wheel.
Of course.
So it's like if you talk about the Indiana Fever, but you don't talk about Caitlin Clark, that doesn't compute in his hype wheel brain, because First Take is about big storylines, headlines, sound bites. That's what fuels that show. Mm-hmm. So he's almost he's in this like you said, Rob, tunnel vision. He's got this thing where it's like, well, if you're not going to talk about her, then why talk about the Fever at all? Because that's the story. And that's what I'm trained to do now. Like, my brain is trained to talk about whatever the big talking point is and then get to the next thing. Then we got to shit on Jerry Jones. And then we got to get to this other thing. So it's like his brain is sort of like it's in the wheel. So when someone comes on and goes, hey, you got to love on this person, Elijah Boston, all these other people, and it doesn't hit Caitlin Clark, his hype brain goes, well, you missed you buried the lead.
Yeah. And, you know, I wish you'd have had more people like that when I was playing, because there were so many guys. They weren't mega stars, but they were stars in their own right. But nobody back then was like, oh, we ain't got time to talk about them. You know, you think about, you have somebody to talk about them now, and they can get, with the social media platform they have now, they can look them up and like, okay, I heard Sheryl Swoops. My mom or my dad said Sheryl Swoops is so good, so she must know what she's talking about. Let me look up this person she just mentioned. Now you get some love for that person, because you think about back in the day when we played, well, I played, I should say, you didn't have, you know, it was Michael Jordan, you know, Dream, Patrick. You talked about those stars, and you had all the other guys just sitting back in the back like this, like, hey, we don't mind. You know,
nobody talking about us. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm on Sheryl Swoops' side big time on this one.
Yeah, I think we all are to an extent. All right, well, college football's back, baby. It is college football season. We're going to get a big shot of the week here, and then I've got a college football game for you guys this week, which I think is fun. But I never know.
Oh, Lord.
The only story in college football that was big for me this week, well, for starters, FSU taking a big fat L from the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in Dublin, Ireland. That was beautiful. They were like a 14-point dog or something. I mean, the line was stupid. And then they lost by a field goal. That's gorgeous. I just think that's hysterical.
You know, for me, I love the fact that, you know, coming from last year, when y'all was all pissed that Alabama took your spot, you know.
And this was the revenge tour. That's what this was. This was Florida State. They were on the revenge tour. We are going to F the ACC. We are going to show the College Football Playoff Committee, and they freaking laid a big fat L on national television in week 0.
Hey, but they good thing they lost early, so they got a chance to redeem themselves.
No chance. No chance. They got that team is built for like 4 or 5 wins, or 4 or 5 losses. I mean, like they are engineered to lose 3-4 more games.
They looked
like dog shit.
Yeah, their defense looked like
they got gash
tissue paper.
Oh my God!
Now the crazy part about it is, in that first half, they looked good. Florida State looked. They looked decent.
It was a little back and forth. Yeah.
But that second half, I don't know what happened when they came out of the locker room.
Honestly, it was the opening drive they scored, Florida State?
Yeah.
The one where they went down, they drove down, they score, they go for 2, they get it. It's 8-0. And immediately you go, oh, it's going to be one of these days. Okay. Here comes the revenge tour. And then I guess they just kind of shut it down after that because, oh, man, the wheels came off quick. But the other story in college football we're talking about, did you hear what's going on with Deion? Banning the Denver Post reporter from asking questions about football-related activities. When the Denver Post reached out to find out, so why is our guy, Sean Keeler's the guy's name, I think he's the beat writer for Colorado for the Denver Post, and they were like, so why can't he? And Colorado said, well, this was after, quote, a series of sustained personal attacks on Deion Sanders. Some of the headlines that he used to describe Deion Sanders and the situation in Colorado: false prophet, deposition Deion, Planet Prime, the Deion Kool-Aid. He called it a circus many times. And then my favorite one, the Bruce Lee of BS. He called Deion in the paper.
Sheesh.
Now here's the thing, Deion Sanders. If you are going to build your reputation on shit talk, you damn well better be able to take it as much as you can dole it out, because that's how it works. It is a two-way road. you cannot ban the beat reporter for the local paper because he's not a fan of yours. Who cares? Like, what? How can you talk as much? And by the way, when they were 3-1, oh, this was it. Colorado was gonna. This was it. He was gonna. They were talking about him to replace Saban. After he was 3-1, should Deion Sanders replace Nick Saban? And then he went 1-7 the rest of the way, and he went from the king of college football to now like a pariah. And I don't.
How was his recruiting class?
Shit, he doesn't recruit. He doesn't do in-home visits.
It's more of a lot of the
He don't recruit kids?
No,
it's not that he didn't recruit.
He doesn't do visits.
A lot of his guys are coming through the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. So he's getting.
He wants
a lot
the ones that come to him. He doesn't want to have to go out and get them. And that, by the way, is ego.
He better come up out of that, because if you want to win, you think your name can prove only so much. But these kids nowadays need you to come. I want you to believe in me. I want you to invest in me. I want you to come see me.
Care about me. I don't want to just care about you.
Well, here's the thing. His as grand as his name is, their problem in Colorado is depth. It's not about getting a certain level of talent. They have some talent. They have no depth. And that's the problem where at Colorado, it's going to be hard for you to acquire depth because they ain't had depth in years. I think he has to go somewhere else because it has to be his name and the program combined together and working together in order for him to get and accumulate the talent. He can't. I don't think he's going to be able to do that.
They gave him that in Colorado. Here's the keys to the ship. Do whatever the hell you want.
He does. You're right. But his name, as great as it is, see, when you have a school like Georgia, you have Kirby Smart and you have the Georgia brand that recruits. When you got a guy like Kalen DeBoer in Alabama, you have Kalen DeBoer and you have the brand of Alabama. Colorado ain't got no damn brand.
No, their brand is Deion.
That's just
their
it.
Their brand is Deion. Right now.
But that's what I'm saying.
Man, you think about all the greatest coaches that's ever done this thing in college. They all go into these kids' house, and Deion got to get to that house.
Oh, Nick Saban was famous for it.
But Nick Saban didn't go to everybody's house.
No, he didn't. But the kids he wanted.
True.
If he knew he had a beast 5-star receiver, he worked that kid.
20, top 100. He was in their house.
He worked them. He worked them hard.
But you also have, and that's true. But you also have recruiting coordinators who are Deion's right-hand man or your coach's right-hand man.
But Deion's the brand.
He is.
They want to see Deion. There is something to be said for Deion Sanders walking into your home.
True.
And sitting at your table with your mama and talking to her about this is what I'm going to do for your son.
True.
He took the time, even though he's doing a lot of great stuff for them once they get there, but you got to get them there. And I think he has to take the time and say, yo, man, because these kids now, they want to feel like they're wanted. I'm like, okay, I want you to come to my house. Because every kid, like when you recruit, like the best, like I tell the story how when Bobby Crimmins finally came to see me, I was so damn excited that he actually took the time to come to my little small town to recruit me. Mm-hmm. And so to me, it's about feeling wanted. And everybody wants to feel, you can send me a fucking letter. You just send a letter to 10,000 other fucking kids. Mm-hmm. But when you come to my house, that makes me know that you want me. And he wants me to be in his program. So, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I just think they have overall, they have a depth issue just because Colorado, and like I said, what Deion has done there already.
It's not a destination.
What he's done there already is amazing. Yeah. It's just, that's a lot. That is a lot of work to overcome the lack of depth that they've had for years.
Yes. And it was apparent when Travis Hunter took a little bit of a step back because he was hurt. All of a sudden, it was like, oh, no, we have nobody else that could do anything close to this.
Of course not.
And I was like, well, yeah, that's the point. So my question is, beyond his son, Shador, and beyond the Travis Hunters of the world, what else you got in the book, man?
Man, Travis, that dude. Woo,
no, I know.
He's a beast.
I get it, but that's his one of his only, him and his kid. Because besides that, I can't tell you another player on the Colorado roster.
He's not staying. Look, he's not staying in Colorado.
Oh God, he hasn't stayed anywhere he's been.
I've said it before, and I've said it again, and I'll say it again. I think there may be one possible job out there that I think where it'd be perfect pairing his name with a said brand.
Okay.
And that is the University of Southern California.
USC?
Going to the Big Ten, I think it is the perfect pairing to pair Prime, who has a brand himself, with a program that has been known to recruit talent. They've been down for some years, but it's USC.
Look at this look on his face.
I think if you put those two together, I think you can start really seeing things get back into a place when it comes to taking USC back to some level of glory. To me. But I think that is a
You ain't got
match
no
made in
respect
heaven.
for Lincoln Riley, do you? Jeez, man.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Time out.
The last minute and a half.
Whoa, time out.
Shit.
I don't agree with Paul Feinbaum a lot, but he may be right here. Lincoln Riley literally ran from the SEC. From what the reports were, he tried to get out of this game on Sunday where they're playing LSU in Vegas. So my thing is, and you're losing recruits. And you're moving to the Big Ten, which is 10 times harder than where you came from in the Pac-12. Plus, you have Oregon is on the rise. USC is on the fall. Lincoln Riley may have 1 to 2 seasons left, maybe, before they show him the door.
Harp now works for the USC Human Resources Department. He's like, here's the reasons we're letting you go.
I'm telling you what I see.
If Candace would have been in the room and heard that, she'd been over here like...
I'm telling you what and I follow USC for a while, and I'm telling you what I know. They hired Lincoln Riley to get them back to a level of prominence and glory. But the simple fact that the last couple of seasons have not turned out the way that it was supposed to, plus you're losing recruits.
Been there 2 years?
Huh?
It's only been there 2 years, right?
Certain programs don't have patience. You're in Southern California, you're in LA. It's too much stuff to do. You have a history of success at USC, and they expect a level of excellence, regardless of how far excellence has been.
They hadn't had success with what's the old guy left? The
Pete Carroll?
Pete Carroll.
Oh, you know the report on Pete Carroll? He went back to USC to teach.
Did he?
Yeah, he's taking a teaching job at USC. You can do with that what you will.
He got some outstanding debt he's going to have to pay off or something.
Oh, no.
He owes
not
the school
really.
money somehow.
Not really,
yeah.
because if Reggie can get his Heisman back, they can make amends with Pete Carroll.
Okay. He's teaching, intro to
but
money management.
The Heisman had nothing to do with USC.
You're
though.
right. But what I'm saying is, when you look at
Mm-hmm.
a school like USC that is trying to get back to prominence and you're moving to a tougher conference, outside of the SEC, the Big Ten is the best conference.
Let me just say this. The USC, it's certain programs.
This is not a USC podcast, by the way.
No, we love college football.
It's just certain programs I feel like it's never going to happen again. And I feel like USC is one of those programs when it comes to football. It's never going to happen again.
You are lucky your wife is not in the room. Holy shit. Listen to you run your mouth when your wife ain't in the room. Holy shit.
I tell the same thing. It's just because, when you talk about the realignment of these conferences now, it's going to be hard on USC players to travel back and forth. And guys are like, because that's going to wear and tear on your body. Unless your NIL deals coming from USC is fucking tremendous, you ain't getting nobody.
But Oregon got to do it.
Dude,
and Oregon is on the rise.
Nike.
Yeah, they got Nike money.
Get it.
They got unlimited Phil Knight money.
That's fine. But you're telling me that a school like Southern California, I understand they don't have Nike in their back
where
pocket.
Where was when I need it? Taxes. You forget they got to pay taxes too now.
Yeah, I know. We forgot. I told you forgot to wear your no state tax.
Yeah, I get it. I understand that. But you're a prominent program in college football. I think you don't have the right coach there.
Hey, there is only one coach in this world that USC can hire to put them back on top.
I named him already.
No, you didn't.
Who is it?
He's sitting on the ESPN panel now.
Are you talking Nick Saban?
That's the only person.
He ain't coming out of retirement.
You don't think Pete Carroll can do it?
Deion all you
He
want.
ain't going to USC.
You don't think Pete Carroll could do it?
No.
No, he too old.
Not at this stage of his life, no.
Ain't Pete Carroll like 80 years old?
And he's still young at heart. He still. Oh, you saw him in Seattle running up and down the sideline.
Harp is now taking a job in the Pete Carroll promotions department.
No, I
He works for his public relations agency now.
You acting like Nick Saban. Nick Saban wasn't no spring chicken.
Yeah, but he's affiliated with college football. Pete Carroll has been in NFL for 15 years.
And before then, he was associated with college football.
Until they took all his college football accolades away.
But I'm saying once you leave and you don't come back quick like Nick Saban did, he said,
Well, Nick Saban had to come back because he was a failure in the NFL. And no disrespect to Nick Saban, but it was a reason why he came back to college.
A season and a half with the Dolphins was dreadful.
What are we doing?
It was painful.
Pete Carroll succeeded on both levels.
But some guys are built for college and some guys are built for the NFL. Pete Carroll, I'll give you credit, was one of the rare instances of a guy who had success at both levels. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of guys who do that. There really isn't. But I think Pete's just too old, man. I think it's why Saban threw it up, because he's just like, I want to chase these damn kids and scream at the top of my lungs. I'm gonna have a heart attack. You're gonna find me on a practice sideline somewhere dead because I'm screaming at an offensive lineman.
When you had all these rules where you couldn't slip nobody no money, now you gotta slip them some money.
Yeah, you took away Nick Saban's bag, man. Now what is he supposed to do? That poor man's out of work. Shit. Who's gonna slip this kid a Mercedes under the table? I mean, come on, something. All right.
When you got other guys riding Ferraris.
Yeah. Legally, by the way, that was like, oh no, the university gave me this.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I love college football. I'm glad it's back. It'll come up probably week to week. Let's do a quick big shot of the week and a quick game here, and we'll wrap it up. I know we're running a little long, but hey, we're back. It was a back week. We were off a week. We had a lot to do. Big shot of the week is going to go to Justin and Casey Pageant of Danville, Kentucky. Here's why. Justin's a 5th grade teacher at Highland Elementary School. He had a kid in his class that was struggling, and he found out that the kid had needed to be adopted, that his foster parents were unable to adopt him. And he was struggling, so it was like he didn't want to go back into the foster system, and he needed to be adopted. So Justin and Casey talked it over, and they adopted this young man and his 3 siblings.
Oh, wow.
So they could keep all 4 of the kids in their family together. That is insane and amazing, and you just gave that whole family like a gift from God.
Yeah, you did.
Justin and Casey Pageant from Danville, Kentucky. That's like big shot of the millennium. Holy crap!
Because you got to think about you keeping them together.
Yes.
And now you're going from we joke and laugh about, and then you got to think about the financial situation, bringing in 4 kids to an ecosystem that you're not used to. And now you got, that's a big. They had
to buy a new house. There was a lot of stuff that went into doing it.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that goes in it. So, man, someone needs to start a GoFundMe fund for those, because they're gonna need the help, and that's just a great thing to do.
Yeah,
man.
God bless those people, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's have some fun real quick. End the show by goofing off with a college football game real quick. This is pretty easy. It's either a real team or it's some BS.
Oh, okay.
You just got to tell me if it's a real team or if it's some BS. That's all. All right, so I've got a whole bunch of these. We'll just fly through them. We'll see how we do. All right, guys. Okay. The Delaware Fighting Blue Hens. Is it a real team or a fake team?
Real.
Rob says real.
The Fighting Blue Hens?
Yes, the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens. It's point for each of you. Yes, that was real. Revolutionary War Captain Jonathan Caldwell from Delaware bred blue hens. They named the university the Blue Hens. So there you go. That was real. The South Central Louisiana State Mud Dogs.
True.
Central Louisiana State.
That's one.
I think so. I think I've heard them before.
Okay. Well, you have, because it was the team from The Waterboy that Bobby Boucher played for. So,
but that don't mean it ain't real.
It's not real. It's not real.
Hey, I know I heard of the Mud Dogs.
I know you heard of the Mud Dogs because Bobby Boucher played linebacker for the Mud Dogs in Waterboy. All right, the California University Condors.
Yeah. California University. Yeah, I think so.
I think not.
Oh, the point to Robert Ory.
Oh.
That was from Beverly Hills 90210. That was the name of the school, the California University Condors.
Oh, okay.
From 90210.
Hey, the only reason I said it because it's a University of California. I never heard of California University.
California
y'all
University.
got so many doggone schools
I know.
out there.
That's the fun of the game. All right. The University of North Carolina School of the Arts, Fighting Pickles.
I've heard of this, so I'm saying yes.
Wait a minute. Say that name again.
The University of North Carolina School of the Arts, Fighting Pickles.
Wouldn't the School of the Arts just be a part of the University of North Carolina?
The University of North Carolina School of the Arts, Fighting Pickles.
Fighting Pickles?
Never known a pickle to fight, but unless you're a Rick and Morty fan.
Well, no.
All right, Rob says real. Harp says nah. This is real.
It's real, dog.
Two of the music students at the University of North Carolina School for the Arts were on a quest to find the best pickle in town and then jokingly submitted it as an entry for the university's football team name in the 1970s, and it won.
Do you know what?
Fighting Pickles.
Because the Tar Heels it's the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Yes. So there you go.
Hey,
whatever.
Okay, cool, whatever.
All right. Well, the Fighting Pickles is real. The St. Louis Billikens. The St. Louis Billikens.
That sounds so weird. It could be true, but I'm going to go the other way. Thumbs down with that
Saying
one.
thumbs down.
Billikens. Yeah, I don't think so.
This is real, by the way. Do you know what a billiken is?
No.
Never even heard of it.
Nope.
It's like a good luck troll. It's like a troll that's good luck. It's like a little devilish looking creature. I have no idea why they chose it as their official mascot, and nobody does. There's no reason why it's listed as the mascot, but it is the St. Louis Billikens.
See,
It's
I
real.
said it. I should have stuck with it. It sounds so weird. It could be. It's true.
It's so weird it could be true. All right. The University of Los Angeles Peacocks.
No, that's Fresh Prince. That ain't real. I know that one. Because Carlton dressed up in the costume. That ain't real.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, I knew that
You
one.
spotted that one. Yes, that
Yeah,
was. The
I knew that
Peacocks
one.
was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You're absolutely right. The Texas State Fighting Armadillos.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, I think so.
That was from a movie called Necessary Roughness. Necessary Roughness, where Kathy Ireland was the kicker. They got the female kicker.
yeah,
Scott Bakula was the old man quarterback. Yeah. Necessary Roughness. Good movie. Underrated. The University of California at Santa Cruz, Banana Slugs. The University
thumbs
of
up.
University of California at Santa Cruz, Banana Slugs.
Is it a slug on a banana boat?
Okay, sure, yeah.
All right, you're both saying real. Yeah, you're both going to get a point. That is real. The students spot them, the little slimy banana slugs laying around the campus's redwood forest, and voted for it to be the school's representative. So yeah, that's this real thing. You can get banana slugs merch.
So that's what, Northern California?
Freaking cool, man. On banana slugs merch now. The Long Beach State Dirtbags.
That's one of those ones that sounds so bad. I'm about to go with true.
Rob's saying true.
You said dirt bag?
The Dirtbags. Long Beach State Dirtbags. He's saying false. This is a real school, man. The moniker emerged because the university's first baseball team in 1989 exercised and practiced on an all-dirt baseball field.
Got it.
So they were called the Dirt Bags, not like you stinking dirt bag. Yeah, okay. The ESU Timberwolves. The ESU Timberwolves.
What is ESU stand for? ESU Timberwolves. Yes.
Okay. He says yes. Rob says
down.
no. The ESU Timberwolves are from the movie The Program. That was the school from the movie The Program. And Rob brought that up like a week or two ago.
Did it?
Yeah, The Program came up on the show. All right, we'll do a few more quick ones here. The Minnesota State Screaming Eagles.
Thumbs up.
Rob says yes.
I gotta get something right. Yeah.
You're saying yeah? Well, you didn't get this one right. You're wrong. The Minnesota State Screaming Eagles from the show The Coach. The show Coach.
Oh yeah, I remember that show, Coach.
With,
yeah, I remember that show.
With
Yeah.
Craig T. Nelson. Yeah, he was the football coach there. All right, the Grand Lakes University Hooters.
Hooters.
The Grand Lakes University Hooters.
Grand Lakes University Hooters. I'm gonna go thumbs down.
Okay, Rob says no.
Grand Lakes University.
The point goes to Robert Horry. That was from Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. That was the name of the university. They were the Hooters. All right, we'll do two more here. The Webster University.
What was the famous dive called?
The Triple Lindy. It was the Triple Lindy that he did. Oh, the famous dive. The Webster University Gorlocks.
Thumbs up.
Rob says real.
Western University Gorlocks. That sounds like it definitely could be real.
All right. You're both right. It is real. I don't know what a Gorlock is, but it's a combination of the two intersecting streets, Gore and Lockwood, where the university is located. That's why they're called the Gorlocks. I was like, they're named after like trolls or gremlins or some shit.
Hey, like a warlock than a girl.
There you go. And we see a lot of that nowadays, so who knows? The last one, the Western University Dolphins.
The who? What's the first part?
Western University Dolphins.
No.
Oh, Harp says no.
I'm going to say yes.
Rob's saying yes. I'm going to have to put in a phone call on your behalf, Robert Horry. That was the team from Blue Chips that Shaq played for. That was, that was not a real team. That was Nick Nolte as the head coach of the Dolphins. And Shaq and Penny Hardaway and some white guy who thought he was Larry Bird. I don't remember the kid's name, but yeah. So, no, it was from Blue Chips, which, by the way, again, underrated
I'm still
movie.
trying to figure out why I wasn't in that movie, Shaq.
Oh. You have to take it with the big fella. I don't know.
No, I'm kidding.
He wanted Penny Hardaway instead. So, yeah.
That's why we kicked their ass.
That's why you got swept, motherfucker. That's why.
See? You should have let me in the motherfucking movie, man.
Put me in Blue Chips all of a sudden. Things change.